When we treat an emotion as a purely chemical byproduct, we overlook the structural cause of that chemical release. It is a category error that ignores the informational geometry behind what we feel. To find the source of that geometry, we have to look past biology and toward the resolution of space-time itself. At the sub-Planck scale, consciousness functions as a high-speed simulator, processing the raw vector data of reality before it even manifests as a neural spike. Within this simulation, an idea takes a literal geometric form, a structured informational packet with specific internal directions. Because these packets possess physical dimensions in the mind space, they exert pressure, occupy territory, and push against the observer's boundaries. This suggests that the conscious mind requires more than just memory or logic. It requires a specialized hardware mechanism capable of feeling the physical shape and pressure of the ideas it processes. This mechanism is the emotive plane. Think of it as a seventh sense, a biological hardware monitor designed to read the structural integrity of your internal environment. The monitor tracks a single metric, informational strain, or sigma. It measures the physical tension between your internal state and the objective vector field, how much you must warp to accommodate reality. The hardware translates these tension readouts into the signals we experience as feelings. Every emotion, from grief to excitement, is a feedback signal from this hardware. These feelings are the conscious mind's way of perceiving physical stress in the vector field. We are reading geometric data. Our emotions tell us, with mathematical precision, whether our trajectory through reality is clear or obstructed. This navigation requires a target. For any conscious action to occur, the mind must first define a specific ideal, the state it intends to reach. On a topographical map of the mind, we can visualize your current state as the self-idea ball. Your target is the goal idea ball, a larger, more complex configuration in the distance. Motivation is the kinetic vector path that connects the two. It is the bridge between your current reality and your intended ideal. Along this path, survival is the constant requirement of forward motion. Behind you lies a terminal state, the absolute loss of the vector path, which the system recognizes as death. The size and complexity of that goal determines your level of arousal. A massive, intricate target exerts a stronger gravitational pull, demanding more energy to reach. Valence, the good or bad quality of the feeling, is a readout of resistance. It measures the friction you encounter as you try to align yourself with the geometry of the goal. In this framework, human motivation is the physics of an object in motion. We are navigating a topography of informational pressure. Positive emotions are simply names for states of low informational strain. They occur when the system achieves smooth flow and vector alignment. Hope is the perception of rapid, unblocked movement toward the target. As the self accelerates toward the goal, the internal hardware registers a sharp drop in structural strain. Joy registers when you suddenly align with a path of significantly lower resistance. It is the feeling of a sudden systemic easing. Excitement is the rapid expectation of alignment. The hardware senses that a massive, desirable configuration is about to be successfully integrated. Peace is the state of absolute equilibrium. The vector path has resolved, the ideal has been achieved, and there are no competing targets creating tension. Happiness is not a mystery. It is the mechanical result of a conscious vector path proceeding with zero resistance. Negative emotions are reactive states. They are the high-strain signals caused by friction, collisions, and geometric mismatch.
Anger is a high-will response to a physical obstruction. Your self is grinding against a barrier that blocks the vector path, causing the strain readout to spike into the danger zone. Shock is the hardware's reaction to a sudden, high-velocity collision with an unintended state. It is the feeling of a forceful, unexpected halt. Shame is a readout of structural incompatibility. The hardware detects that the current configuration of the self cannot fit into the geometry of the ideal state. These feelings are not character flaws. They are vital alerts from your seventh sense, warning you that your current trajectory is leading to structural damage. The most severe strain occurs when the navigational system loses its target entirely. This is fear. The target has vanished, and the hardware perceives a gravitational drift toward a state of non-existence. Without a vector to follow, the system begins to sink. Grief is the violent loss of expected continuity. A future state you had already integrated into your trajectory has been forcefully erased. Despair marks the absolute collapse of the matrix. The sensor network scans the entire field and finds 0 reachable future states. Depression is a state of high-strain passivity. The system has reached a terminal anti-ideal, a dark equilibrium where all forward vectors have been suppressed. Boredom is the idle state. The sensor is active, but there is no ideal to pull the self forward and no anti-ideal to push it back. Human suffering is often a navigational error. It is the experience of being stranded in the simulator without a coordinate to move toward. This same logic allows us to deconstruct the state of love, which represents the most stable, low-strain configuration possible between two systems. In this framework, love is a high-order valuation. It is the effort to maintain shared continuity with another system. This stability is the result of a specific 4-part alignment. Two independent systems lock into a shared orbital loop, where the tension between them drops to 0. To maintain this shared trajectory, 4 variables must sync: the target, the substance of the connection, the process of interaction, and the intent. If these variables align, the bond becomes structurally sound. Trust is the mathematical expectation of this stability. It is the calculation that the other system will maintain its part of the shared trajectory. Love is not a single feeling, but a state of verified logical coherence. It is the harmonious synthesis of 2 independent geometries. These mechanics lead to a necessary conclusion about the nature of our internal world. If emotions are simply readings of structural strain, then they are properties of the ideas we process, not properties of ourselves. The informational universe is filled with pre-existing structures, each radiating an objective strain value. Interacting with an idea means stepping into its strain field. Feeling joy or despair is simply reading the structural integrity of that informational packet. You are an observer, experiencing pre-existing geometry. This shift changes your relationship with your feelings. You are the processor of the emotion, but you are not the source of it. We can now treat our 7th sense as a practical navigational tool. In a storm, a pilot doesn't try to feel the wind. They watch the instrument panels. They know the shaking is just data. This data tells them exactly how to adjust their course. By viewing emotions as objective data readouts, we can detach from psychological chaos. We recognize the strain for what it is, a signal that we are out of alignment. The goal is to use this strain data to course correct. Instead of being consumed by the feeling, we use the signal to navigate our trajectory